So, a totally new kind of web browser is here. And we're not just talking about something that's a little bit faster or has better bookmarks. No, this is a genuine shift in how we might use the internet. We're talking about an AI native browser. And believe me, it is kicking off a whole new browser war.
But before we dive into the future, let's just get real for a second about the present. Go on, do a quick check. How many tabs do you have open right now? Is it 5, 10, 20? If you're anything like me, it's a complete mess of work stuff, research, maybe some shopping, and definitely that one article you promised yourself you'd read like 3 days ago.
We're all basically drowning in this browser chaos, right? It's this constant juggling act, this endless cycle of copy-pasting from one window to another, and that nagging feeling that you saw something important but you have no idea where. Honestly, it's mentally exhausting.
Okay, but what if your browser could do all that heavy lifting for you? That's the big promise here. So let's meet this potential new co-pilot for how we navigate the web.
This is it, ChatGPT Atlas. It was launched by OpenAI back in late 2025, and the key thing to get is that this isn't a browser with some AI extension bolted on. Nope, the entire browser is built from the ground up around a conversational AI. The whole idea is to stop treating the browser like a passive window and start treating it like an active partner.
And this really gets to the core of it. Your traditional browser, it just shows you pages. That's it. You have to do all the reading, all the understanding, all the connecting the dots yourself. Atlas, though, is designed to be an active participant. It doesn't just display a page, it actually tries to understand it. And that means it can help you with the actual work.
So how in the world does it do that? Well, it really boils down to 3 main features. First, there's the sidebar. It's this always-on assistant that can look at whatever page you're on and summarize it, explain it, you name it. Second is memory. With your permission, of course, it remembers what you've looked at, so you can just ask it things like, hey, what were those design sites I checked out last week? And third, and this is the really wild one, agent mode, which can actually perform tasks for you across multiple websites.
Now, those features sound pretty impressive, sure, but what does that actually look like in the real world? This is where we start to see the potential for what some people are already calling a productivity revolution.
This quote from Serhii Halchuk, he's the founder of a company called Leads for Build, just nails the whole value proposition. He argues that for a lot of businesses, the real problem isn't finding new customers, it's managing all the administrative work that comes with them. And this is where it gets tangible. I mean, just look at this breakdown for a contractor. Responding to emails, a job that could easily eat up an hour, gets slashed to 15 minutes because Atlas can draft replies. Creating a project estimate, that goes from 2 hours down to 45 minutes. And comparing prices from different suppliers, from 30 minutes down to 5. It's crazy.
So when you add it all up, the analysis comes out to this just staggering number. We're talking about contractors saving around 12 hours a week. Think about that for a second. That's more than a full workday, reclaimed every single week, just by changing your browser.
And, of course, this isn't just about contractors. Just imagine that same kind of efficiency for a student writing a paper, or a researcher digging through studies, or really, any of us who are just trying to manage a flood of information every day. The potential here is massive.
But what if this whole approach, this amazing productivity miracle, is actually built on a really fragile foundation? That is the core of a growing critique coming from the developer community, and they are sounding a pretty serious alarm.
And it really makes you ask this fundamental question. We are essentially building an AI to pretend to be a human, to click and scroll and read websites that were designed for our eyes. Is that really the most stable or efficient way to build the future of the web?
This quote from a developer discussion on Reddit just cuts right to the heart of it. The argument is that forcing an AI to navigate our human-centric web is just a clumsy, inefficient workaround. I love this phrase, architectural debt pretending to be infrastructure. It's like putting a patch on something instead of building it right in the first place.
So their critique really breaks down into a few main points. First, these agents are super fragile. A website changes its layout and poof, the agent is broken. Second, they're incredibly inefficient, just burning through computing power to pretend to be a person. And third, they're vulnerable. The developers argue that the real solution is an internet with a proper API layer, basically a backdoor designed for machines to talk to each other directly, instead of making them use the front door that was built for us. You see, this disagreement isn't just some technical debate for engineers. It actually frames this whole thing as something way, way bigger. The next great war for control of the internet itself.
let's be very clear here. This fight is not about which browser has a better dark mode. This is an existential threat to the search engine model, especially Google's. I mean, think about it. If an AI agent can find you information, compare products, and book your trip without you ever landing on a search results page, Google's entire ad business is suddenly in jeopardy.
And this quote, wow, it just captures the new stakes perfectly. The competition isn't about who can load a page the fastest anymore. It is a battle for the user's most valuable online real estate, their flow of thought. Whoever owns the interface where you think and plan and act, they're the ones who win.
Which leaves us with this final, enormous question. As we move forward, are we going to keep building a web that's primarily for human eyes and human interaction? Or are we about to rebuild the whole thing so that it can be read, first and foremost, by machines? The answer to that is going to define our digital world for decades.